Hello, my name is Maiju Tompuri, and I'm a product designer at Zalando. As a designer, I do everything from early on concepting, prototyping, to creating pixel-perfect designs. And I have worked in the B2B, business-to-business domain for about a decade. And then Zalando. Um, as a company you maybe know, as we are the leading European marketplace for fashion. We serve around 50 million customers in 25 European countries. So maybe you are one of them, at least I am. So maybe you bought a pair of jeans or sneakers at some point. But have you ever thought about what's happening behind the scenes when you do that purchase? A lot of that is to do also with our partners. So there is a lot behind, not just the website and you as a customer, but a lot of that happens for our partners. We have partners that we partner with in logistics and in marketing, and then which I'm more familiar with, is partners selling their products to our platform. And there are partners that we have that are big, famous brands, and then very local, sort of local labels that are only relevant for certain markets. And I'm going to focus on two of these business models that we have, and they are called Partner Program and Connected Retail. And in Partner Program, we connect brands to our platform so that they can sell their product directly to customers. So it means that if you bought those Nike sneakers, it might be that they are not actually coming from our Zalando warehouse, but directly from Nike warehouse. So for you as a customer, the experience is almost exactly the same, but the products are just coming through our partners. And Connected Retail is very similar, but there we connect brick and mortar stores, so physical clothing stores, to our platform so that they can sell their products through Zalando directly to you. What it means is that maybe those jeans you bought, they are not actually coming from a warehouse somewhere in Central Europe, but they're actually coming from a local store nearby. So they are the ones who take it out of the shelf, put it in a Zalando box, and send it over to you. And so the teams I work with, they are building tools and services for our partners, so for the back office. So if you're curious, you can actually sort of spot our partners in the website or in the app when you buy the clothes. So you can see that some of the products are shipped and sold by our partners, for example, Nike, or then directly from a store. So we are not building what you see here, but tools for our partners to manage their business with us. It means the products that they sell, the price that they sell their products, how they fulfill, put the packages and ship them, and also how they perform. So which products are selling the best in our platform, for example. And why is it important for you to understand the difference between B2B and B2C, so business to customer, is that the B2B landscape is really complex. There's a lot of sort of interfaces coming together and a lot of different kind of requirements than with customers. And one especially let's say challenging but also inspiring thing is that our partners are hugely different from each other. So you can easily imagine that, for example, Nike, that's a big organization. They have teams and technologies and everything. And then there might be local stores, one person shop in Kemi or something. So the sort of tech readiness, the requirements, needs, they are very different. And even if our partners are very different from each other, one thing that stays the same with us is always the product development process. So at Zalando, we follow this 4Ds approach, where we go through phases of discover, define, design, and deliver. So all of this is the same, even though our partners are very different. And during the process, we interact with each other with different work disciplines all over. So we have us designers, we have product managers, we have engineers, architects, business people, data analysts, communication. And some of these people are more involved in different phases of the product development, but there is a lot going on. And now, what you might wonder is that why am I here as a designer talking about design process, product development process, because traditionally maybe it's thought that designers are the ones who make things pretty at the end, and that's it. Well, that's true, we do that. But we also do quite a lot before we get in there. And yes, I'm also not an expert on quantitative data analysis, but what I learned is that there is something especially like similar to designers and data analysts. Both of us are curious by nature. We are both problem solvers, and we want to make an impact with the work we do. We're working on the same platform, but a little bit different angles. But the aim for us both is to make improvements. In our case, we want to improve the partner business and also customer experience. So that's also special for B2B, is that we are not only looking at our users, partners, but we are also looking one step beyond, always to the customers. That's you. Now, let me tell you a story. So it was about maybe 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago. I was seated at the office next to, or almost across from this one person that I really didn't really know, or all that I knew was that her name was Rosmi, and that she was a product analyst. I didn't really know what that means. What does a product analyst do, or who they work, or anything. But then one day, my PM, so product manager, he came over to me and showed a data analytics dashboard. And in the dashboard, it was about a feature that we recently launched, so that we could follow up on the impact and how the adoption rate has been going on. And that was built by Rosmi, the dashboard. And that was the first time that I sort of learned a little bit what she works with. And this is quite typical, so that at the end of the product development process, we set up the analytics, so we follow up on the impact. And this is good, you know, we should do this, definitely. But when I was, you know, sitting next to Rosmi, talking with her, having some interesting conversation, learning more what she's working on, I started to see that there might be something more that we could get by working together with Rosmi. So then I just started to speak out loud when I was working with some challenges, and to pick her brain. So Rosmi would provide different kind of angles. She would have a different approach to the problem, and she could come up with things that would either contradict or confirm our assumptions. So in last spring, I was working with this mobile app, and Rosmi was also involved in building these dashboards, but the mobile app was aimed for our connected retail partners. So remember the ones who work in the clothing stores. So this app is aimed for them to more efficiently fulfill orders. So when you order those jeans, they get a notification, they see it in their order list, and then they can go to the shelf, pick it up, pack it up, and send it over to you. And this app was already launched, it was live, and then we were looking into more improvements on the app and building the roadmap. And the product manager, the engineering manager, they especially were super excited about this idea of optimizing the order list so that, for example, we would have very powerful filtering, sorting capabilities so that the partners could, on their app, put, for example, that they would only see children's shoes or women's jeans, so that they could easily, go first to the kids section or something like this. And it makes perfect sense, right? But I had done some user research in the past, talking to our partners, and they had not really mentioned this. They said that it's efficient to pick up the orders, but it was quite not so big research, so maybe it was representing only a few partners. I don't know. So we went into like first rounds of ideation of how we could do it, and it turned out that it might be actually quite complex. So it looks simple, but it might be quite complex, both from the design point of view, but also it would require some backend changes. And this was the moment when I went to Rosmi to talk about this, to share where we are. And it was within the same day that Rosmi came back with me with some calculations. So she had found out that with over 90% of our partners or users, they have only 20 to 30 orders open at any given time. And 20 orders you can easily scroll through quite fast. We wouldn't need so many filtering capabilities. But this piece of data was not there before because we were following the number of orders. We were not looking at the number of orders at 9 o'clock or 11 o'clock. So it looked like there was much more orders than what we found out. So with this information that Rosmi got out of the data, with the qualitative insights that I had from user research, we could go back to the team and sort of share that maybe this is not something we want to put our efforts to. And we had the confidence with the data points. And we ended up taking it out of the roadmap. And this, us coming together, we basically saved time from me, from design, for working on it with 1-2 months. The backend engineers making those required changes, front-end engineers, communications, everyone involved in launching new features. There was another time working with the same project that Rosmi actually came over to me because she had been looking at some of the usage data and for some reason the numbers were just not adding up. So she was sort of looking if I could, find a solution together, like why is the numbers looking strange? And when she shared this with me, I realized that we were so focused on our main sort of metric, which was fulfilling the orders, getting them to the customers, that we had sort of missed out in the analytics the other use case that we had and we predicted that we would have was just looking at the order list, viewing the list. So we had much more users than it looked like from the interactions. And the viewing is more for the store managers or store owners who are interested to see like what is the workload for their staff. So this was something we didn't consider when we were building the dashboard. And after we found this out, and sort of I provided the context for those numbers, then Rosmi could also start to follow this other use case. And what we found out was actually quite interesting, was that here on the screen you see the blue bars. That was the number that we were following more before, so the fulfillment of the orders. And that sort of, they are mapped on the time of day, and you see that it happens basically when the store is open, so from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. But this other sort of new case where we could see a lot of numbers was about viewing the list, and you see the numbers go up towards the evening. So what it looks like is that maybe the store owners or managers they look at they look at their phone in the evening before going to bed, so that they know if they have to, you know, call some help in the morning, if they have a lot of orders, or maybe if they have no orders, then they can, you know, go to work half an hour later. But again, when Rosmi came to me with this challenge, I could provide the context, and that's why the numbers started making sense again. So that small graph you saw was a snippet out of our analytics dashboards, and the dashboards are quite important for us. We use them in many different ways, and especially they are very important for us in the B2B side. It's very, as I mentioned before, it is different from the B2C, and one main thing is that we have a lot lower sample size. So our users are not counted in millions, but rather in thousands. So for example, A/B testing, which would be a good tool usually, and it is widely used in our website, in our app, doesn't really provide really sort of meaningful results for us. So we need to be a little bit more creative, a little bit more experimental with how we approach, how we gain the smart insights. And that's why we usually come together with the product managers, analytics, and design, so that we can sort of see that the dashboards make sense and that they provide insights that are meaningful for all of us. And with following these, we can make sure that we can either confirm or contradict our hypotheses, or then justify our decisions. And for us designers, there's also something that is special for us in the dashboards, because we can use them to optimize our design work. For example, with following the screen size, device type, or localization, and then connecting them to some use cases, we can maybe optimize some designs for mobile, or then in general, like see that this is the screen size that most of our users use. Another way we use the dashboards is sort of to define user behavior and use that when we are conducting user research and recruiting user research participants. So for example, what you saw just before, we could contact partners who we see that are using our app heavily in the evening to sort of see if what we thought they are doing is what they really do. And also if there's anything else we could provide that would help them in this use case. So getting context, getting reasons behind the data. And then we also use the data dashboards even before or in the early phases in the define, so we can scope the problem or sort of find routes where is the challenges coming from. So as you see, we are not only coming together at the very end, but actually all throughout the product development process. So in the discovery phase, we can use in user research or scoping the problem, figuring out if the problem is worth solving, like in the mobile order list, or then optimizing design based on the usage data, and then of course at the end sort of figuring out the impact, following up on how the features are used. And what I hope you might get out of my speech today is that if you are a designer like me, find out who are the data people in your company, get curious who they are, what they do, how they work. It might not be something that the organization sort of encourages, that you are not in the same bucket, but you might have to make some work to get there, but it's worth it. Because these are people with very smart brains. You want to have them in your corner. You want to sort of learn how they can give you backup so that you can articulate your design decisions better. And you don't have to be an expert in data or quantitative data analysis like I'm not, but it helps you a lot when you know the moment you need to sort of talk to one. And then if you are a data expert, a data analytics person, engineer, build connections with designers. So again, this might not be something that anybody says to you at your workplace, that you should talk to the designer. It might not happen, but do it. Because I mean, if you show the designer what you do, show them some of your reports, analytics, dashboards, funnels, anything really that touches even a little bit user behavior or user interactions, you will get the designer interested. And you can show how your work can build confidence in the designer's work. And also, when you're trying to understand the feature or functionality so that you can follow up on the metrics and functionalities, designers are very good as first point of contact for you, because designers usually work in the middle, so they talk to several different disciplines, the product managers, the engineers, business people, marketing. So they have a good understanding of everything that is going on. So if you want to get a good overview, you can start with the designer. And what I think is that when you connect the deeper user understanding, the qualitative insights that user experience designers usually have with the quantitative data and the detective attitude that the data analysts have, then you can sort of really feed each other and be more efficient together. And at any stage of the product development process, when you bring these job families or disciplines together, you can start to see sort of patterns that you wouldn't necessarily see otherwise. And you can see problems and challenges from different perspectives, and gain sort of new insights and maybe some creativity on the side. So I have shared sort of my story, how we collaborate, how I learned the benefits from working together with data analysts. But there is really no set ways how you should be doing this. So I just highly encourage you to find your own way and see what happens. Thank you.